Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Ed, and Marissa's on vacation, but don't worry, guys, I'm gonna hold it down because today we're talking about the movie Here. So before I go further into it, I just want to let you guys know that this might contain some spoilers in the film. So if you haven't seen this movie, go ahead and check it out. Then come back here in the comments. Let us know what you thought about this film down below. And usually I just throw to Marissa, but let's get into the plot. Here is an original film about multiple families and a special place they inhabit. The story travels through generations captured by the human experience in its purest form, sharing in love, loss, laughter, and life. So if you guys didn't know, this is the first time that Robert Zemeckis, Tom Hanks, and Robin Wright were all in the same film together since Forrest Gump. In this film, it is a story about multiple families going through time in this one specific location. The way that the film is done, that there is a camera that's set up in like the top left corner of the screen basically, and it's just there the entire film. It's very reminiscent of like a sitcom setup or a stage play. Nothing moves. No, the camera doesn't move, but everything around it is just going through time in different aspects. It's a really cool concept, and I think they do a good job tackling it. I will say in the beginning of the film, it was a little hard to get into just because of the transitions they do. This one movie talks about everything that happens in this house, even before the house. They go into the dinosaur age all the way to COVID times. I get there's going to be a lot of jumping around when it comes to the plot and the story of each individual person that lived in that house, but for me, the transitions were a little bit rough in the beginning. Now, as you go on with the movie, it starts becoming a little bit of an easier watch, and it's just a really creative way to tell the story of multiple families through time. But what better way to talk about a story through time than the director of Back to the Future? But in speaking of the story, this movie really does follow the story of Robin Wright and Tom Hanks for the most part. And with that, you're gonna see Tom Hanks through time and Robin Wright, and they do a really good job at de-aging them. They spoke about this in multiple interviews that the way they de-aged them, they kind of got lucky with everything kind of falling in the right place. How they've been in multiple movies, and there's so many different shots of them throughout the years of different ages. So when it came to the de-aging, it was really easy to just pick up on certain aspects of their face, and they can just plaster it right on to their actual bodies right now. So the way the de-aging looks, sometimes it's a little, when they like do this a little bit like to the side, a little you can tell the difference, but it's crazy the technology they have these days to even do that type of stuff. Now, the movie itself, the storyline itself, I did think this was going to be a little bit of an emotional film, and they do have some of those aspects. You're dealing with a lot of things in life when it comes to grief and death, even the happy moments in life. This is one of those films, they do touch on all those things, but again, it kind of goes back to my point about the transitions. When sometimes when there is a death in the film, the transition kind of, it goes to like some other story, so you don't really get to like be in that moment and feel that the weight of someone's death in that moment. So it might have been like a artistic choice to go that route, so you're not lingering on those moments, but there was a lot of that in this film. And I don't want to go too far into the story and give a lot of stuff away, but I will say I really did love the story of Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. Their chemistry together is second to none, and I think they really do a great job at delivering the message that Robert Zemeckis wanted to portray in this film. And this movie really is all about one message, which is time flies. This is a movie that has you thinking about your own life, and like sometimes we get so caught up in the moment and thinking about bills and money and just everything that kind of makes you want to give up on your dreams and stuff like that. Life is precious, so you have to make the most of it. Unfortunately, some people get caught up in the rat race, and years down the line, they start regretting these things and realizing, just to have a stable job, they gave up on their dreams of doing what they love to do. And you get that story through this film, and I think all in all, this really is a film that had me taking a step back and thinking about my life, and how my parents are getting older and stuff like that, and me wanting to reach out to them a little bit more as well. Life be life, and I'm not gonna lie, and that's really a strong staple of this film. But just because life is lifing, you can't let that stop you from doing the things that mean most in your life. So, I mean, overall, for me, it really was a great film. I did enjoy it. I was talking to my wife if this was on streaming, though, because it starts off so slow and with all the transitions going on with all the stories, it might be one that honestly I probably would skip and say, like, hey, let's just watch some other type of movie. But being that we got to see it in the movies, I got to see the entire full movie. I'm really glad that I actually had a chance to see it. And I hope that people don't give up on it just because the beginning is a little bit slow. Really, the whole movie is slow because it's just telling the story about a person's life. But if you just invest some time into it, I think you'll really like the film. It's a different type of movie that we're used to seeing, just because it's all from one camera angle, one perspective. But it's also a really cool idea to see all the lives and the voices that have been through that one specific spot. So for me, this is going to be a recommend for myself. But more than anything, I want to know what you guys have to say about this film. If you liked it, if you didn't, whatever your thoughts are, leave them in the comments down below. And if you have any movie suggestions, please leave them in the comments down below. Myself and Marissa would love to review them. And I want to thank you guys for joining myself today on Distant Critics. Marissa, come back from vacation soon. I know you're watching this. Peace out, guys.